Doug Pederson back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Coach?
Rich, I'm doing well. I just want to know, where can I go to vote and how many times can I vote?
You can vote. You can stuff the ballot box as much as you wish on the most, the most, I guess.
On the trick play for the Super Bowl history?
Yes, you vote for the fridge, right? Is that the?
Well. Oh my goodness.
So I guess, how has life been? I mean, what has it been like for you, Doug, over the last couple of weeks?
Well, it's been a little crazy. Things have settled down some, but it's just this is on fire right now. It's unbelievable here around Philadelphia. Anywhere you go, grocery store, post office, out to eat, dinner, whatever. I mean, it's just people are still on fire, and for me, it's very special because of the stories that I hear. About it's generational here in Philadelphia, being our first Super Bowl win, and people have had season tickets for 40, 50, 60 years, and it's just amazing to hear those stories. And it's been for us as a football staff too. I mean, there's change obviously, so I've been in the process of moving some guys and shifting some guys around and trying to hire some guys, and it's just a little crazy that way, but we're back to normal now. We're in the office, and we're getting ready for 2018.
So who's the first non-family member you heard from, text or call, after you won it all?
Well, I had 128 text messages after the game. My wife had about double that. She has more friends than I do.
Nice.
So Andy Reid was one of the first ones I had on there. As far as a non-family member, a lot of my close friends from back in Louisiana, even here in the New Jersey, Philadelphia area. A lot of my close friends here were the first ones to text. And it was just exciting. It was just really exciting, kind of surreal at the end of that game, and but I was able to get through all those text messages and answer every one of them.
Yeah, and I'd love to just unpack the Andy Reid of it all here, because of what he tried to do and came close to attempting and pulling off in Philadelphia is something that you were able to do. What was that moment like when he was able to share a Philadelphia championship that you were able to bring, and you were being part of those years attempting to bring it with Andy Reid? How did he take it?
He was classy, class act, very complimentary, and really, I said this in an interview after the game. I think it was a couple days after the game. I talked about a lot of these players that we have on this roster were drafted by Andy Reid. The Fletcher Coxes, Brandon Grahams, Vinny Currys, Nick Foles, to just name a few. And so a lot of the guys that were on the field that day were a direct influence on Coach Reid and what he brought to Philadelphia. And he was just excited. He was excited, obviously, for me personally, but at the same time excited and thrilled for the city of Philadelphia.
Doug Pederson, champion head coach here on the Rich Eisen Show. So Nick Foles, when he took over the controls at the end of the regular season, looked nothing like the Nick Foles that we saw in January and obviously in early February. Were you holding anything back? I mean, walk me through this transformation as it seemed to just outside eyes, Coach.
Well, and a lot of the outside eyes couldn't see and didn't see Nick prepared in the week, and what people tend to forget is he missed a lot of training camp time with these starters, with some of the guys that he would have played with in the Super Bowl. He missed the regular season reps with these guys because Carson Wentz was playing and starting, and so it takes time. It's not. You just don't flip the switch and go, okay, he played. He started a couple years ago. He was 27-2 touchdown interception ratio. He's a Pro Bowl. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't flip the switch. It takes some time. So what you have to realize is that he was sort of back in training camp mode. We're trying to knock the dust off and the rust off of Nick Foles and basically get the offense back to some of the things that he was comfortable with and what he liked, and having conversations with Nick and just sort of a feel-out process to get to where we were going into the postseason. And it didn't look pretty at the end of the year. And, rightfully so. But that's what we put out. That's what we put out on the field. So I can understand that part of it. But we had a bye week going into the postseason, which we got back to a lot of the basics, a lot of the fundamentals with him and the team offensively, focused in on the run game, some of the things that Nick was, some of his strengths as a quarterback. And then we sort of, the second half of the Atlanta game, we kind of came alive as an offense, shot the ball down the field a couple times and found a way to win that game. And then the Minnesota game, against a great defense, great team, to come out and play the way we did and the way Nick did, was tremendous. But it's all sort of, everything was accumulating now. Reps were accumulating. Time at the quarterback position was accumulating. Reps with Zach Ertz and Alshon were accumulating, and just getting on the same page. And then the 38-7 win over Minnesota was exciting, and then we had another bye week so we could prepare again and just keep accumulating reps. And Nick's not a rookie. He's a veteran guy. He started several games in the NFL, and it just began to show his confidence the deeper we got and the more opportunities he had.
And then, of course, Coach, the confidence level to any timeout in the Super Bowl prior to the first half to come up and suggest the trick play that we were talking about earlier, the Philly special. Now, a couple of things about that moment. Why the timeout? I thought when you called that timeout that you were just going to settle for a field goal at that point in time. Was that part of the process at all?
No, it was not a part of my thought process at all. The time on the clock was actually running down, and we got out of the huddle late, and so I didn't want to waste a play or try to hurry up a play and not execute it properly, and so I burned the timeout. We had timeouts in that situation, so I wanted to burn the timeout. I just keep remembering, you're playing Tom Brady, you're playing Bill Belichick, it's New England Patriots. They've been in this spotlight before, and we have to score touchdowns. I said after the first series of the game to the offensive staff, we can't kick field goals and win this game. We can't do it. And so I had made my mind up at that time that I was going to go for it. And it is, fortunate we got the timeout, and then Nick ran over, and we were looking at a couple of plays, a couple of +5 red zone plays, some 2-point plays in that situation, and he whispered Philly special, and I just looked at him, and we locked eyes, and I said, "Let's go."
Yes,
and,
I love that
call.
I love that part, Coach. We saw that in the NFL Films coverage that you locked eyes. What was that 2-second thought process for you before you said, "Let's do it"?
It was like that's it. Let's go. That's the confidence we needed. That's the confidence I love seeing from from the players. I was like, because I actually that play was actually part of our +5 red zone, and I had actually marked it down as like maybe a +3, +2, in the red zone area, low red zone area. We were down in there really tight, and it was like it's the perfect call at the right time of the game. And our guys didn't bat an eye. They executed it extremely well. It's a play we had in actually for about 3 weeks. We'd repped it against the Vikings during that week. We didn't call it, obviously, carried it over into the Super Bowl game plan, and guys pulled it off, and it was a big part of the win in the Super Bowl.
So the Philly special was not the play that you would have run had the clock not run down? That the timeout was?
It was not. It was not. I had a different play called at the time.
What was that?
That I had called, and I honestly cannot remember what I had called prior. It was, I'd have to go back and look at my call sheet to see what I had and pull out the notes from the game, but it was not the call at the time that I called the timeout. No.
By the way, if you just don't, for the rest of your life, don't even remember it. It's a much better story.
I don't even want to think about it.
Oh man, a couple more minutes left here with Doug Pederson of the champion Philadelphia Eagles here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's with the ice cream? We noticed that also that you would always break. I guess the Saturday night meeting before the night before game.
Yeah.
You'd always offer ice cream to the players. You always say there's ice cream in the back. I mean, what's that all about?
we have a team snack after the team meeting, Saturday night at the hotel, and there's always desserts and things. It's probably the one time of the week that our players get to kind of eat junk food a little bit, and indulge in some of their cravings. And I always have ice cream, and we have pies and cookies and things like a lot of desserts and stuff. And
Yeah.
and so I just started coining a phrase. Just hey, I've got some. We got a highlight video to watch, and after I got some ice cream that's kind of melting in the cafeteria over here. We got to get to it. So let's watch this video. I got some ice cream, melting. Let's get ready. Let's get ready and watch it. So it's just something that kind of caught on throughout the year. Obviously, our video guys, they record those meetings, and they put out that little spoof of me. I don't know, 10, 12 clips, I guess, of me saying that, and it kind of caught fire. I do love ice cream. It's probably my favorite dessert.
Okay.
Vanilla is my favorite flavor, and that's what we have.
Okay. It's odd that somebody whose play sheet is so exotic, you just go straight vanilla, Coach. I'll be very honest with you.
I go straight vanilla.
No toppings?
Plain that way.
No toppings? No nothing?
That's it.
No, okay, straight up.
No. Well, I put a little strawberry topping and some whipped cream, some sprinkles.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe a little bit.
A little Philly special to that.
Philly special.
So as we are sitting here, obviously we're months from training camp. What is the plan with Wentz? Do you plan on having him back week 1, Coach?
We're optimistic, obviously. I don't want to put a timetable on him. Obviously, he's working extremely hard. He's in the weight room. He's getting his rehab done. He's working good, but at the same time, I'm not going to rush him. Like we did with Sidney Jones. I didn't want to put him out there if he's not 100%. So optimistic, that could come to fruition. But again, we'll be smart about it, and we'll put him out there when he's ready.
And it's amazing how things happen. You go from 1 week, you're the MVP of the league, and 5 weeks later, because the backup wins it, you're a system quarterback. I mean, it's nuts, I think. But what do you tell people who say that about Carson Wentz because of what Nick Foles was able to do, Coach?
Listen, Carson Wentz was the MVP talk, of the league last year, and I truly believe if he's healthy, and I still feel strongly that we're probably in the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl with Carson Wentz. And he's the MVP. I mean, I just think that's just the way he played last year, and he's a big reason. He's not the only reason, but he's a big reason why we were, I believe, 11-2 at the time. Playing the Rams and won the NFC East, and it's. For me, being a former quarterback, to have two guys really three guys. I mean, you throw Nate in there, but you're talking about Nick and Carson, who you just don't bat an eye with either one of these guys. The way they prepare, the way they study, their demeanor on the field, their leadership styles. I mean, it's just it's a blessing to have two veteran guys like that, and now have an MVP, a Super Bowl MVP as your backup.
And is Mike Groh the replacement for Frank Reich? Is he the guy?
Mike Groh.
Mm-hmm.
For Frank, yes. Mike Groh, yeah. Mike is the replacement for Frank. Feel comfortable with him, and I've got a great offensive staff, and I've said this before, and it's a collaborative effort. Even when Frank was coordinator, it was a collaborative effort. John DeFilippo is a big part of what we did. Deuce Staley's a big part. Jeff Stoutland. So we got guys that we put game plans together, and not one guy gets the credit, but Mike has been promoted, and I'm excited to see what he can do.
Hey, Coach, congratulations. I mean, as you pointed out at the beginning of this conversation, the number of generations that you made thrilled and gave memories to based on how you conducted yourself and worked the roster and got everybody ready and kept them all salty and with the dog masks and all that sort of stuff, and with Lane Johnson and the guys having fun, ice cream and celebrations and whatever. It was a lot of fun to watch, and I'm thrilled for you. So congratulations.
Well, Rich, thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate it, guys. It's a great group to work with, and I appreciate it. And we just the hardest thing now is trying to big on our backs now going forward.
Yep.
But I wouldn't want it any other way. So,
all right.
Thank you so much.
No, Coach, I'll see you in Indy. Congrats.
All right,
Again,
you bet.
You
Thanks,
got
Rich.
You bet. That's Doug Peters.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.